Hi, this is Stevie. Have you ever done a watercolor sketch or painting where you get into the middle of it and realize that you've made a big mistake? And you know how watercolor is. Once it's there, it's there. Well, there are ways to fix things, and I'm going to show you in this video how to do that. I had a situation here. This sketch of this horse in front of the tanning salon, I took this photo many years ago, but I kept it because I don't know, it just seems so humorous to me for somebody to ride their horse to a tanning salon. But it had these large windows with a lot of reflections in them, and that's what I'm painting here. And I have never painted reflections this large. I've certainly done reflections in windows, but this is a lot of space. And if you look up in the photo up in the upper right, you can see there's sky there and some trees and other foliage in the background. Well, I was taught to first paint the glass in the window a gray color and then drop in the reflection colors. So and it worked okay with the blue sky. That was fine. Then when I started putting in the reflection of the palm tree, at that point I thought, oh, I don't know about this. I did not care for the trunk of the trees. That color really stands out. That's like burnt sienna. It's quinacridone burnt orange. And then when I started adding some of the other colors there that were reflections in the window, I thought, ooh, I really don't like that either, especially the yellow. I didn't like the yellow. But I kept going. So I went over to the other window on the other side and did the same thing, started adding the palm tree and the trunk of the palm tree, which, if I didn't like the first one, why did I keep doing it? Who knows? Anyway, I just kept going. And the more I kept going, the less I liked it. And I didn't want to just stop and get rid of the sketch because it's in my sketchbook, number one. And I thought I did a really good job of sketching that horse, and I didn't want to have to redraw it again. And I thought, well, what can I do to save this? But I just kept going. And you know the old saying, if you're digging yourself a hole, stop digging. Well, I didn't stop digging. I kept going. I covered up the yellow over on the right that I didn't like, and I thought, well, if I add more dark gray, maybe that'll help. And it just kept getting worse and worse. And I don't know. At this point, I didn't really know what to do. I can't even remember why I was adding some more color there. And so then I thought, well, I'll add the door frame, which was black, and maybe that contrast with the black will help. So I went ahead and did the door frame, and that did help a little bit, but it sure didn't help all those ugly colors in the reflections that I just really didn't like. So I went ahead and finished the door frame, and then this is where I thought, no, I have to start over. So I didn't really start over, but what I did was I removed a lot of that color with water. And here's how I did it. I used my trusty spray bottle from Walmart, and you have to be really careful. It's really risky to do this. Notice how I protected my page with a paper towel behind it. And you can do it over a sink, but I just did it over my water container. And then you spritz that color and let it run off, and then dab it with a paper towel and let it dry really well. I set it outside in the sun to dry. And I think I had to iron down the page too because it was bent, or it curled. And I just ironed it on the wrong side of the paper. But already I thought it looked better. There wasn't so much color there. I liked it a lot better. So I thought, okay, I'm going to try it again, but with a little bit different approach. So I added in the colors again, and when I do that, I wet each section first and then drop in the color, and that makes the color spread better. Otherwise, you'd have hard edges. See how that color just spreads when I drop it in? So my thought here was forget the palm tree trunks. They don't really add anything to the painting. What I really wanted to do was just suggest that there were trees and foliage in the background. So that's what I did. I just dabbed in different green colors to the foliage, to the painting, and let it go at that. And then that was it. That was all I did. At least I had gotten rid of that awful yellow color that I didn't like and some of those other colors. So I went on and painted the figures in this sketch. These two ladies, the one on the right, she she had a black outfit on, which I didn't like, and so I changed the color of that. And you can barely see the other lady who's standing behind the horse, but you can see a little of the top of her head and her capris that she has on and her legs and sandals. So I put those things in. And that yellow sign, I don't know what it is about yellow. I really didn't like it that much. I kind of wish I had done something a little more subtle, like use raw sienna instead. But it's there, so I kept that. And just moving around now, you can see the lady on the right, instead of black, I made her outfit blue, just so it would stand out better against that darker background of the glass behind her. And so then I could move on and did the horse. The horse was kind of a whitish color, like a buff color. And I didn't want to leave him just white, so I used raw sienna with a lot of water and just lightly put that color on him. And that seemed to work pretty well for the horse. The horse was so much easier to do than the rest of it. I would think that might be harder, but in this particular case it wasn't. It was probably one of the easiest things I did. And so I'm just continuing to work on around the horse, leaving some white on his rear where the light hits the top of the horse. And I dabbed in a little bit of more of the raw sienna at the joints of his legs and some area like there on his rear and his belly where there would be shadow. I actually do add other shadow color later on, but this helps too to create the form of the horse. And on his tail, he had a little gray, and then a gray at the bottom of the tail, and then the buff color toward the top. So I got some gray in there. I didn't spend very much time on the tail. And then on to the saddle, the saddle blanket, and then the saddle itself. And everything on the saddle was brown, and I thought, how am I going to differentiate these colors? And it was hard. What I did was I used my quinacridone burnt orange for the saddle, for the base color. And then for some of the objects, I added a little bit of ultramarine blue to that quin burnt orange, which makes it darker. And I don't know, I didn't spend much time on that either because I don't know that it's all that important. I moved on to the side wall there just to let the saddle dry so I can finish some other things there later on. And on that wall, I would normally have painted that wall with the raw sienna color, but since the horse was done with raw sienna, I used yellow instead, which stands out a lot more. I did mix some raw sienna in with it, but that yellow's really bright, and I just wanted you to know that I wouldn't normally use that. And then onto a saddlebag or a purse that was on the horse. I had to let the other objects dry before I could go back to it. Just quickly painting that in. And I think that was actually a piece of the saddle. I couldn't really tell from the photo, and it's been so many years since I took the photo I couldn't remember. Now when I go back and paint the door frame again, I like the look of that a lot better. The reflections now look much more natural to me. So that was a good lesson for me, and I don't often paint reflections, but it's a good learning experience. And then onto the sidewalk or porch where they were standing, I just put in some light gray color that I had left over from the door frame, just put more water into it, made a gray color. And then there was a step, so I need to get another value in there to show the step. Just added a little more color of the gray color to show that step, and then the continuation of the sidewalk. And so one other thing I don't know if you saw it at the very beginning, but there was an open sign. Well, two things. The word tanning, which I really wanted to get in there because that was the point of this sketch, is to show the horse in front of the tanning salon. So I used my Posca pen, my white Posca pen, to do that because Posca pens are acrylic ink and they're opaque. And I knew it would show up really well. And there I was just putting in some faux lettering on those two little signs that are on the glass. And then there will be one more sign that I'm going to do at the end. Right now, I'm getting some shadows in here. And I just used I have a color on my palette called Cobalt Blue Violet. I love that color. And I just used that to quickly put in some shadows to make these figures sit down in the painting. It kind of anchors them to the ground. There was a nice little shadow on the right there on the sidewalk. That's with a nice diagonal line, which always is helpful in a painting. And getting a few more, there were both form shadows and cast shadows on this horse. The cast shadow was from the stirrup on the saddle, so I got that in. And then the softer form shadows, of course, were around his belly and the areas on his body that turn. So I was just getting those in. And then the lady on the right, she had a cast shadow on her legs from her shorts. So I got that in. And a little bit there on the wall, but not too much. And there was one other shadow in the upper right corner. I don't know if you can see that in the photo, but I like that shadow because, again, it's another nice diagonal line and it looks really good. Kind of works as an eye stopper, too. A few more on the horse. Just to help show that form. And on form shadows, I always soften the edges of them. Cast shadows have more of a hard edge, but form shadows have a softer edge. And then I think I'm pretty much through, except for the sign that I mentioned. There was like a neon sign in the window that said open, and it was colorful. It was pink and blue, and I really liked it. And I wanted to include that. So doing it at the end of the painting, I really wasn't sure how to do this, but I thought, well, if I do something opaque, then that'll show up over the watercolor. And I had started to do the words open in pink, which they were in the photo, but the pink didn't show up that well. So I decided to go back and do it with the white Posca pen. And then I went back over that with the pink. And I really wanted a way to show that this was a neon sign. And I don't know why neon signs fascinate me, but they do. And so I went back over it again with the pink, and that helped. It was brighter than it had been the first time, but it still needed something, so I took a chance and thought, okay, now I'm just outlining the outside of the sign. But I decided to go back and add the white over the top of the pink on the words open. And this is a happy accident, something I'm finally happy with on this sketch. That turned out to be a real happy accident because to me, when I added the white on top, it looked much more like a neon sign. So then I went and did the blue border around the sign the same way. And then since I had had good luck with the pink, I went and added the white to the blue as well. And it number one stands out better, but it also to me looks much more like a neon sign than I had it before. So there you have it. There's the little sketch. It turned out okay. I managed to save it. Not the greatest, but acceptable. And I hope it helps you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and thanks so much for watching.